are live with Dina. I'm so happy to see you here. Whether you are joining us live or you're coming in on the replay, I am just so happy to stay up with you today. I hope that you guys are having a great week. Kicking off this week. I don't know about you, but it's hot here. It has just been about 90 degrees and 180% humidity here in the Midwest. I suspect many of you are feeling the same things, unless you are in the desert and then it's just hot, not humid. I always laugh because in the Midwest, it is such a common thing to say that, but it's a dry heat, which I always laugh about. So I'm sorry, I'm writing tickets for our card challenge because I was like all ready to do it. And then I was like, oh, I need tickets. So I'm quickly doing that right now as we speak. And so give me just a second. Ooh. Okay, so I hope, okay, I had her too. Linda. So I hope, so actually, I'm just going to warn you right now, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the Olympics today, we're going to discuss it. Because I have words to say, which I think is going to make y'all laugh. All right, but just give me a second because I'm almost there. Okay, so Olympics. Are you guys into watching? Oh my gosh, I love, 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 love watching the Olympics. And my favorite is gymnastics, followed closely by swimming. And then, of course, my little track star and I have been watching track. And actually, this is so funny. So Carl, I think I got the last one. Carl just called me to tell me that, okay, I got her. Oh, there's another one. Carl just called to tell me that the 5,000 meter runner got her medal because there was a big controversy in that. So anyway, oh, the pole vaulter, yes, Mondo Duplantis, he broke his own record. He is like, he's kind of like Simone Biles of pole vaulting, like no one can touch him. But I about flipped out. Simone Biles didn't win the gold medal in floor. Like, what? Sorry, that I should have warned, another spoiler alert. But it's been all over the interwebs, so you have no one to blame but me. Anyway, it is just so crazy to see. She got out of bounds twice, and then she and Suni both fell on vault. My heart is broken. I didn't actually see that yet because I haven't had time today because I've been busy. But yeah, she did not win the floor. Rebecca Andrade, I think that's how you say her name, from Brazil did. And here's why I wanted to talk about it. So she and Jordan Childs got silver and bronze, and they like kind of bowed down to Rebecca for winning on the podium, which I thought was just such a sweet gesture and such a really great sportsmanship thing to do. So I think they really hyped her up because she is really amazing. I mean, seriously amazing. So, the gal who did win. Anyway, it was just so fun to watch. I could tell Jordan Childs was so nervous because she wasn't her usual kind of self, but so cool. I really liked that, especially given and the gal who won has had 3 ACL tears. So that's like insane because usually one would take you out, basically that it's like a career ending injury pretty much, and she's had 3. So I just think that's so crazy. And then of course Suni. Oh, I love Suni. Of course, she's from where I grew up in Minnesota. And so she's just special because, well, I just think she's amazing. And so it's just so fun to watch. And then, of course, swimming has been crazy to watch. I am just a huge fan of Katie Ledecky. I was a swimmer in high school, so I love watching swimming. And of course, ever since Michael Phelps has been a swimmer, it's been extra exciting. I've always liked it, but he really brought, I think, swimming to the forefront. And then Katie Ledecky is just so amazing. So it's just been so fun to watch. And of course, did you watch the 100 last night? So the men ran, and Carl and I were like, I don't know if Noah Lyles can do it. We didn't think he would. And he won by like that much. I mean, it just is so insane to think about that race and how it went. Just so crazy. And Carl Carl was like, couldn't believe it. And then, of course, the funny thing is, they had such a huge introduction. Well, first of all, the introductions kind of drive me crazy. I mean, I get it. It's your moment. You deserve the introduction. But as a spectator, it just takes so long. And last night, they had such a humongous run up to the introductions of the 100. And then they played this whole song and they did this crazy thing on the track and the lights. And oh my gosh, it was really crazy. And the introduction took so long, and Carl was like, oh my gosh, I would be dying if I was running, because you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and you're not running while this dumb song plays. So it would just be so awful. And then he was heartbroken because Shelly Ann Fraser Price, I guess there was like some kind of weird thing where they wouldn't let her and Sha'Carri Richardson into the door. I don't understand what exactly that was. I don't think I saw a full report of it, but like they couldn't get in to the stadium, like to where they warm up. And so Shelly Ann Fraser Price dropped out because she couldn't warm up. And I think so because she's older, she really needs to warm up or she's going to hurt herself. Whereas Sha'Carri Richardson's a little younger and she can do with less warm up, if you know what I mean. But it was so crazy. And so Carl's really upset that she ended up having to scratch or she just didn't start because of that. And I think that was in the heats though, not the finals. So, or the semis. I don't know. Anyway, it was just so much drama. But I love watching it. I love the stories of the athletes. I love seeing all the different countries. I have to say, I love that guy from Turkey, the shooter guy who like didn't have any special equipment like all the other shooters. And he said he wants his dog back from his ex-wife or whatever the story was. I thought that was pretty hysterical. And then there was a fencer who was like 7 months pregnant or something, and she won a medal, and that was like crazy, like fencing. And then oh, what was the other one I wanted to talk about? Oh, pommel horse guy. Oh my gosh. Have you seen the 8 billion memes about him? It is so awesome. He is so funny how he has well, first of all the memes. You know, he takes his glasses off and he does his routine and then puts them back on. I thought I think truly the most exciting part of the entire Olympics has been him in the team final and how excited Team USA was to earn that bronze medal. Oh, I just loved that. Oh, the story was so great. And how they were cheering on the sidelines. Oh, it just makes me so happy. I think my team, or my family is making fun of me. I didn't actually see Mondo Duplantis do his pole vault, though. Well, I saw him go like he took a jump after he'd already won, and I didn't see him break the record, but I mean, we kind of knew that was coming. Anyway, it was really cool. And then someone else said something. Oh my gosh, yeah, the Ukrainian high jumpers yesterday, and the one got in her like sleeping bag to run. And also, can we just talk about how a high jumper looks? They are like insanely tall, insanely skinny, and run like hoppy. And then the gal from Australia who was like so happy and joyful the whole time. Like that, she needs to be a meme because she just was so happy and excited just to be there. And I think she got the silver because I think the Ukrainians got gold and bronze and then she got the silver. And oh, she just made my heart happy because she was just so happy to be there. And of course she did really well. But oh my gosh, she's like 8 feet tall and has 7 feet legs. I mean, not really, but kinda. So crazy. Obviously, I can't relate to the high jump because nothing about me is high or jump. I'm 5'3" on a good day, so not my cup of tea, or would not be my specialty, but I love watching. So anyway, I hope that you guys have enjoyed my recap of all things Olympics. So happy for Simone, so happy for Team USA. So happy to just watch all the stories unfold, and I feel like there's so much I haven't seen yet, but there's also so much that it has taken up of my time. I need it to be over because I need to get back to work. I've struggled a little bit and it's so hard to get work done when it's just so exciting out there. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna grab my cup so I can do my drawing here. So I've got a bunch of tickets for the drawing. Okay. Just making sure I know all these names. And I think I have at least one person who is international. So if you are international, just know that I will give you a PDF for your winnings. And so the winner of the drawing is Stacy Hagapan. So congratulations, Stacy. I've got a bundle for you. I'll give you a choice of a couple ones that I've got, but Stacy is the winner of our July contest. And I have an August challenge, or I shouldn't say contest. It was our August card challenge. I have a new challenge for you today. It's going to be the first card that we make, so I'm excited about that. Okay, and then I will have it posted in my Stamping with the Creativity Cave Facebook group here tomorrow, so you can watch for zip it. Sorry, I did not have myself muted. I just pulled myself up so I can watch. Oh, Stacy, you're on here. Yay. Congratulations. We had a bunch of really awesome participants. And oh, I meant to actually name them all off. I suppose I could. Well, no, I'm not going to take the time. But anyway, oh, I know. I could go to the Facebook group and do it. We had, like I said, we had a bunch of people participate, and there's some really cool cards. This one that I really liked, which I probably shouldn't pick favorites, but I did. It's from Chris Ricks, I think is how you say that, or Reeks, I'm not sure. She used like this perfect paper for this, but anyway. So we had Cynthia Otto, Barbara Shepard, Sonia De Silva, Diane Friedenmar, Jill Pace, Deborah Norris, Robin Say, I think that's how you say that. Barbara Shepard again. Linda Miller, Joanne Harris. Linda Coaster, I think, Anne English, Debbie Pott, da, 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 Teresa Brown, Stacy Hagapan. I liked hers too. I mean, they're really good. Chris Ricks. Is that? I think that's how you say that, Ricks. Debbie Ray, Courtney Ostendorp, Joanne Harris, Sherry Pyer, Deborah Anderson, Mary Bauer, Alexandra Matea, Shella Sams, Shanna Leutz, Eileen Byrne, Jean Maxwell, Cynthia Gavin, oh my gosh, Susan Reed, Mary Schneck, Alexandra, oh, I think I said her name already. It's funny because like the different pictures kind of messed up the order on some of them, which was fun. I like Linda Coaster did a really cool one with the I think, what is it called? Potions and Spells stamp set that I thought was pretty cool. Okay, anyway, so thank you to all the participants. I'm so excited that you joined us for this challenge because it really is fun to see everybody's take on this. And I have a really cool project today that I found, I think on, oh my goodness, we have to talk about that in a second, Rosie. I found a really cool card that I found online. I might have seen it in Demo Planning Place, I'm not sure, but it's a really cool fun fold. So I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. All right, so today we've got a few announcements. We've talked about the Olympics, which is just so important. I'm sorry I wasn't live last week. I was just so not feeling well. It's actually, I don't wanna say it's been rough around here, but yeah, I did not feel very good last week. And my husband hasn't been feeling the best either. Nothing's like wrong or anything. It's just the heat bothers him. And so that's not been super fun. But I've been trying to balance work with spending time with Carl because he leaves in like, you guys, he leaves in like 10 days. 10 days. So, or is that right? Yeah, 10 days. So I'm struggling with that just a teeny bit, especially because, don't get me wrong, I love my kid. He's been making dinner for us a lot. He's kind of gotten into cooking and he's been making these awesome dinners and I'm really gonna miss that. So, yeah, and I mean, I'll miss him too. I will not miss the mess he makes after he makes dinner, though. Wow. If you know what I mean. I bet you all have had people come in your kitchen and make meals that maybe use as many pots, pans, bowls, cups, utensils, and ingredients as humanly possible, right? Anywho, so I will not miss that part. But it has, and he also goes to the store for me a lot, which is really nice. Now, Rosie said they added skateboarding and breakdance. I thought they had skateboarding last time, but breakdance, that's interesting. I haven't seen breakdance. That is very fascinating. We'll have to check that out. I can't imagine. Does he wash the dishes? You know, yesterday I asked him to unload the dishwasher and then I told him I would load it back up, but he loaded it back up and ran it, which was really sweet, and obviously unloaded it. So he's been really helpful. He's actually been asking me, so one thing that I love my helpers, but summer has been very challenging. My help is less than half of what it normally is because of people's vacations and schedules for summer. So I've not had the amount of help that I normally have. And Carl has offered to help me, and bless his heart. But a lot of the things that I need help with are, let's just say, not things I either trust him with or that he can really just do. You know what I mean? Like, he can't just ship out packets for people. So we are a little bit behind right now. I'm hoping I've got both girls coming next week, which I think is, or this week, I should say, which I will hope will get better. But oh my goodness, there's just been, if it's not one thing, it's another lately. So anyway, I love summer as like weather and everything, but I hate summer for scheduling because I just don't want to work. I want to enjoy. Carl and I did manage to have a little escape last week, which actually I'm glad I was even feeling up to because, like I said, I wasn't feeling super hot. But we went to Chicago, not downtown, to the suburbs, and we had a lovely little meal at what is it called? Cheesecake Factory, our personal fave. And then we also picked up some things for his dorm from IKEA and the Container Store. Well, okay, let's be honest. I wanted to go to the Container Store. But actually, I was really proud of myself. We got out of IKEA and the Container Store for a very minimal amount, which is pretty good for me because usually I like to come back with like a piece of furniture. I did not this time, so I was really proud of myself. And I think my husband is pretty happy too because, of course, he always has to assemble it. But anyway, yeah, I am going to be an empty nester soon, and I am really not sure how I feel about it. From one hand, on the one hand, I'm really excited about it, but on the other hand, I know we're going to miss him a lot. It's going to be fun. And then, this is one more quick Olympic story. So today we were watching the women's 5,000, and of course that's kind of one of his races in terms of length. And we also watched the 800 final, and he was very excited because his time is still faster than the Olympic women's time that won. So his PR is better than the women's Olympic team. But so we were watching this 5,000, and so it's the Ethiopians and the Kenyans were in the front. Of course, Carl knows all of them. And there was like there was a shuffle at the beginning, like at the leaders, and like they really kind of pushed each other around quite a bit. And so I had to laugh because like I've seen Carl kind of wiggle with people in races, and they really kind of pushed each other around. Well, at the end, the girl that won maybe bronze, or I don't know what she won, they DQ'd her, and then I think her federation or whatever like challenged it, and then she got it back. So I'm like just a few minutes from going live, and Carl calls me and he's yelling in the phone, she got her bronze medal or whatever it was. I don't know if it was bronze or silver or whatever, but I was like, he's yelling in the phone. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Like your heart sinks for a second. He was fine. He was calling from his car. That's why I was worried. And then it turns out that it wasn't that life-threatening voice that I was worried about. It was about the race, which makes total sense because he's passionate, let's just say, because I keep asking him questions while the race is happening, and then he gets mad at me because I'm talking over the race. Anyway, we've had a good time watching. Okay. Sue said she's been to the 96 Atlanta Olympics. So much fun. If I have a chance, go to LA in 4 years. I know Carl's going to want to go. I also know Carl is going to want to qualify for the trials. That's like his life goal. So anyway, I can't, I'll keep you guys posted. All right. I can't believe he's going to college either, Chrissy. He is, he has definitely grown up fast. And it's funny, you remember when he used to come in and say, hi, internet, right? Hello, internet. Well, I have customers who remember seeing him as a baby. They remember seeing him come downstairs in his underwear to say goodnight to me. He definitely has grown up with stamping, which is pretty fun. So anyway, all right. So I'm going to stop talking because I could go on all night. And let's be honest, we're here to stamp and have fun. So I hope that I am a bright spot in your day. I know the world is a little, I don't want to say insane, but insane right now. And so I hope that this will brighten your day and help you forget about all of that. But I've got some fun stuff to share with you. Just getting all my goodies here in order. Okay, I think I got it. So I'm going to flip my camera around, and I also have some cards to share. I got to make sure I do that because I keep, some weeks I forget. So, okay, I've got them here. All right, I'm going to flip my camera. Okay. Oops. Nope. Cancel. The flippy thing, the button to flip looks like another button. All right. So, first off, Bonus Days Redemption is this month. And so all of the Bonus Days coupons that you earned during the month of July, you can now redeem in August, which is so awesome. And I am so excited to redeem mine. Yay. We also have, starting tomorrow, a designer series paper sale, which I'm excited about. So you get 15% off of these 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 different designer series papers. Basically, it's, I think, pretty much all of the ones from the annual catalog, except maybe one, I think. I don't know. Anyway, it's these ones. So bright and beautiful, countryside inn, country lace, country woods, full of life, my fave. Lily Pond Lane, Mediterranean blooms, which we are going to use today. The perennial lavender, which is so gorgeous. Take to the Sky, Thoughtful Journey, To Market, Unbounded Beauty, another great one. Well, let's be honest, I have all and love all. Wildly Flowering, we used this last time I was live. And then Winter Meadow, which is so beautiful for the upcoming winter season. Anyway, these are all 15% off. And then this is also going on through the end of the month. And you can combine this with your bonus day coupons, of course. So that's a really great deal. We also have some online exclusives. I used some last month, and this month our online class features the iconic imagery bundle, which is this. And you can get registered for that. There's information about all my classes in the description of this video, but the iconic imagery, okay, this is kind of funny because I don't want to say I didn't like it, this set, but it didn't really do much for me. But then we were working on planning our class, and I love it. We've had a really good time with this one, and I think it's so fun. I love this this card right here. We're going to use this cool label that's in this bundle in our projects today as well. So I'm really loving this whole suite. That is the wrong page. This is the right one. So there's a whole collection of products which we're using in our class, plus one other item, I believe. And it's a really great collection of products. We've got the bundle, these cool little adhesive backed ribboned dots, and then this cool frayed ribbon, which I just love. So it's a really great collection. There's also some other online exclusive items, including this collection of items, which is the Season of Green and Gold suite. So that's got DSP, specialty vellum, and 2 bundles, which are just gorgeous, and I will be using these coming up shortly. There's also some cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive backed berries. That's a mouthful now, isn't it? And then some satin ribbon. So anyway, really great online exclusive stuff. And then of course that iconic imagery online class that I mentioned is registration is open now, and you can sign up all month long. And then this month's All-Star Video Class Bundle, which you can earn for free with a $50 purchase in my store. By the way, that's after you apply any coupons that you might have. This is happening, and watch, I've got another video for this coming out on Wednesday. And we will be using this in today's projects. I don't use the stamp set a ton, well, a little bit, but I'm using the designer series paper, of course. What I wanted to show you today was kind of some out of the box ways of using the DSP, which I hope you will love. And then of course, if you would like to order please use the host code W2M7WUFM when you check out, and you will get a free card kit for today's projects. All right, I'm really, really excited about our cards today. But before I get to those, one final thing, I want to show you some cards that I've received in my mailbox. This one, isn't this so pretty? Oh my gosh, I love this. It is from this last month's Paper Pumpkin kit. And I got this from Carol on my team. She sent me just such a lovely card. So thank you so much for that, Carol. I also received this beautiful card. This one came from another member of my team, Sharon, who's just the best. Thank you so much, Sharon. Oh, by the way, this is the envelope from Carol's card. It's just so pretty. I love that. Here is another card. It's so simple, but it's so pretty. This one is from Sherry, who's on my team. She's just the best. And this is just such a gorgeous card. That paper is so pretty, but it just makes such a punch. Oh, look at this. Another beautiful card. This one is from Melissa, who's on my team. And I just love her card as well. It's so pretty. That's the Spotlight on Nature bundle, which I love. And this is a really fun one too. Isn't that cute? Oops. I love this. So fun. And this one was from Gloria on my team. She's just the best. This is such a Gloria card too. She lives in Florida. So I love how that she also embossed the flap of her envelope, which I thought was pretty clever. Then this one is from another gal on my team, from Greta. I just love Greta. She is just the best. And she used the alphabet dies, and I just love this. So fun. And then these are from the ephemera packs. Very cute. Here's another card. I don't think I showed this. This is from Leanne, who's just so fun. This was for my birthday. I've had this card for a while. I just couldn't remember if I'd showed it or not. And do you guys remember, this is an oldie but goodie number set that we had a while back. So thank you so much for that, Leanne. And then one more beautiful card. This is from Cynthia Otto, and I think she won our card challenge from last month. So thank you so much for that, Cynthia. So pretty. Love, love, love this this set as well. All right, now it's time to stamp. So our first card is a little bit, I don't want to say tricky, but it's a little tricky. So I'm going to show you, this is called a gatefold accordion card. And I learned this from a demonstrator named Robin, gosh, didn't I write her name down somewhere? Robin Armbrecht, I think is how you say that. Where is her name? Armbrecht, yeah. So thank you. And she learned it from another demonstrator as well. So this has kind of been passed down, I think, a little bit. But this is how it works. It's a gatefold, you know, which is a card that opens like that. And this is the accordion gatefold. So it's going to open like this. So this is how it is going to start. And I can even show you, because I think it helps to see how you cut the paper. Okay, so I'm going to start with a half a sheet, or a full sheet of cardstock. And you need two pieces. The card base is going to be 5.5 by 9.5. Okay, so there's 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to trim this to 9.5 inches. Okay, and then I need to score at 1/2 inch and 2 5/8 on either side. So to do that, I'm going to score 1/2 inch over here, because it's just easier to do the half on that side. And then 2 5/8 here. And then I'm going to go the 1/2 inch over here. Again, it's just easier to do on this trimmer, 1/2 inch on this side. I'll flip it around and do 2 5/8 over here. Okay, so there we go. Now I want to go down and mark at 1 1/4 inches on the top and bottom. I'm going to actually use just a pencil here. I'm just going to mark this spot. Well, actually, I can even cut it. Sorry. I'll just cut up to the score line. And again, by the way, this is easier to do if you don't have a camera in the way, but we'll make it through. So I'm just cutting at 1 1/4 on the two sides on that little 1/2 inch tab that we made. And this will all make sense here in a sec. Okay, so I just am cutting up to that little 1/2 inch line on both of these pieces. So let me draw this in because I feel like it will be so much easier if you see how the pieces come together. And I did have a Sharpie. Here we go. All right. So this is 9 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then we're going to score. This is the card base. We're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 2 5/8 inch on each end. Okay, so these are my score lines, and these are my score lines. And then we're going to also cut 1 1/4 inches on each corner. Okay, so you're cutting all of these off. And I'll just draw in those little dotted lines for the scoring. Okay, so there's all that. Now what you're left with are basically these two tabs. Okay, and then we need the other, so we've got this leftover hunk. It's 3 inches wide, and that is what we're going to use. For the next part, we need to cut this down to 10 5/8. And so if you go the 5/8, because I know sometimes that's tricky. So here's our 1/2 inch, and then we're going to go the next bigger line. So there's a small line and the bigger line, 5/8 of an inch. All right. And then we're going to score this at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 on each end. So 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. Oh, I just cut. That's okay. This is my sample. Do I have any tape? Don't do what I did. Luckily, this is not the end of the world because this is just my 4 1/4. So 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and that actually creates 4 little sections. I'm going to quick grab a piece of tape so I can resurrect this. Okay, so let's tape what I just cut back together like nothing bad happened. All right, so what you're going to have is 5 sections that are all the same side, and you basically want cat ears. Okay, so cat ears is what you want. So this piece is going to be 3 by 10 5/8 inches, and this is the accordion, which is the inside. And then we're going to score at 2 1/8, and 4 1/4 on each end. Okay. So there we go. I know, like, how many of you, raise your hand, have cut when you're supposed to score? All right. So again, we want cat ears. So what's going to happen is when we fold on these pieces, of course, pretend those are cut away. We've got this, right? And then we're going to adhere this to the inside, and then it's going to, we'll adhere this to the inside, and then it will open up. Okay, so here's my sample. It opens up like this, and it can go either direction. They will work either way. Okay, so that is this gatefold accordion card. I believe that's the name of this. All right, so this is our challenge card for this month. So let's make one and see what it looks like. So you can see, by the way, I cut off that section. By the way, this tab actually is supposed to go in the other way, but this was my sample. I will, of course, take pictures of all this and share it with you so that you can recreate this card for yourself. All right, so I had already cut my pieces down, so we're just going to score them. I'm using Night of Navy cardstock. And again, I want to score at a 1/2 inch and 5/8 or 2 5/8. So we'll do a 1/2 inch on this side. We'll get our cutting blade the heck out of the way so we don't mess that up. 2 5/8, right? Measure twice, cut once, or score once in this case. Then I'm going to do my 1/2 inch again down here. Flip this around and do 2 5/8. I hope that you all understand why I'm flipping it the way I am, because it's so hard to get a 1/2 inch on, lined up that way, but it's much easier on this way. Okay, so anyway, here we go. Then I'm going to cut, so I'm going to move it over to 1 1/4 inch, and then this is where I am actually going to cut to those score lines. This is, like I said, a little tricky to do when your camera is in the way. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm lining it up to 1 1/4, and then I'm just going to cut from that little score line tab. And then I'm going to take my snips and actually physically remove this piece. So these little tabs go bye-bye. I X'd them out in my little diagram earlier. Like so. All right, so fun. Okay, now I'm going to fold these in, and you kind of want to make sure everything lines up in the center, and it does, so we're good there. And then I'm actually going to fold these, I think, in this way, like so. Okay, now Robin, in her project, she marked the center of this, but I found I could eyeball it pretty easily, so it's kind of up to you. All right, but that's kind of how you do it. Now we want to decorate the front of this, so we've got these 2 sections right here, and I am going to use 2 pieces of designer series paper, and these pieces are 2 by 1 7/8 by 2 3 no 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Final answer. Okay, so I'm gonna add the cardstock or DSP. You want 2 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, you're also going to need 4 pieces. Let's see. 3, actually, I use 3, but you might want 4. I'm going to say between 3 and 5 pieces of 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. You'll see why I mean that in just a second. And then you also want 1 piece of 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. Okay. All right, so let's adhere those pieces. Again, I'm using this gorgeous Mediterranean Blooms Designer Series paper, which I just love. It's so pretty. So I cut those pieces, and I don't have like a particular pattern carrying through this the way I cut them, so that part doesn't really matter. But oh, I love this DSP. It's so pretty. I have some more on my list to get with my bonus day coupons because I love the discount. All right, so we've got that, and then so that's gonna be what we see on the front of our card when it's closed, and then on the inside we've got that 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. It's the same pattern. So I'll just adhere that right in. So this is the card that kind of shows off the designer series paper. I would want to say like as you would use it, you know, with the Mediterranean stuff, the oranges and whatnot. And then I'm going to show you kind of some fun ways that I think are more out of the box. Okay, we've got that. Now we've got our piece of accordion paper. I want to make sure, I don't know if I trim this down. So 10 5/8 inch. Oh, I did cut it. So again, we're going to score this at 2 1/8. Let's get all this out so we can score our paper correctly. 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And I'm getting that darn cutting blade way out of the way so I don't inadvertently cut where I want to score, because that would just be the worst, right? Okay, so now I've got my 5 sections and I want to create cat ears. Okay. Like, I did it wrong. There we go. Cat ears. Boom. See the cat ears. Or fox ears or whatever. Okay. Now, one thing, whenever you score this, and I don't know if you're like me, I feel like my score lines are never all that accurate. So you want to be a little bit aware of any pieces that are kind of falling out of the section, if that makes sense. So I'm going to score this and I'm going to kind of burnish it to make it bow down to my will so it doesn't hang over. Does that make sense? And same thing over here. This one hangs over a little. It's not the end of the world, but it depends on how anal you are about your card making. Sometimes that just moves. But of course, one is going to have to be on the outside and one is going to be have to be on the inside. And there might be a little hangover. So just be aware of that. Okay. I don't think it's like a really crazy, horrible thing, but it's just, you know, be aware. All right. So let's decorate these pieces. I mentioned you need between 3 and 5 pieces of DSP that are 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. And that really comes down to where you want to put each of those pieces. So I chose to put a white piece here. So I cut it the same size. So I'm going to put one white piece in the center, and that is like where I can write my little message. This is not the kind of card you can write a book in, so prepare for that. All right, so there's that one. Then I picked 2 patterns that are going to go right here on each of these little areas that coordinate. And then I chose a second pattern to fit on this last piece. Now, you might position this piece in a different location based on what you do on the front, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So when you close up your card, one side is going to be on the front, and then the other side is going to be on the inside, right? So you might want one of those to be in one spot versus the other, if that makes sense. So I want my sentiment for the front of my card to be on this one, and then on this one, I'm going to have the final piece of DSP. But again, it's just kind of up to you and how you want to open it. So I chose this pattern right here for that. Okay, now what we want to do is line these up so that we can put them in our card. And as I mentioned, you could find the center mark of this center section of your accordion and then line it up with the center mark of the center of this section. I found it was actually, I really messed up when I did that. What I found worked better for me was to eyeball it, okay? And then to make sure that I lined up the tab so that the tab does not stick out from where I've got this stuff. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure the tab does not stick out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some adhesive on here. I'm going to be a little careful to not press this permanently into place. I'm going to eyeball it, and I'm going to make sure that as I do this, everything kind of fits in place, and it seems to. So then I'm going to press, okay? Because you want to make sure it's going straight across. By the way, if you have the glass mat, this is a really great way to use the grid to make sure that these are, you know, parallel. Because actually, my sample is ever so slightly angled, just slightly. It's not bad, but ever so slightly. Okay, now I want to put my tab. I'm folding my tab in. By the way, you can add an additional piece of DSP here if you want. You don't have to, but you can. I chose not to, but you certainly can. And then I'm just pressing that out, and now it's going to fold in. And then I'm just going to kind of make sure that everything's fitting, and it is. Okay, and then I'm going to open this back up. I'm going to press this and put adhesive on here, and then press this down. Okay, now just a warning, this card is going to be relatively thick. It's definitely going to be like an extra postage situation, most likely, especially depending on what you do on the front. All right, so I chose, rather than to put a piece of DSP here, I die cut myself. This is from that iconic imagery bundle, one of these in some pumpkin pie cardstock, because I thought if I put a piece of DSP, I mean, it's basically the whole thing is being covered up, right? I mean, you might see just a little sliver of it, but I kind of feel like that's a waste of DSP, so I chose not to put some down. So there you go. All right, I'm going to adhere that to my card. And then I'm actually going to stamp on another die cut. This time I've got this piece, which is from the Nested Essentials dies. And I just liked this. I thought it was cute. Okay, so I'm going to take and stamp on this piece with some peach pie ink. I chose peach pie because I thought it was nice and light, and I'm actually even going to stamp this off once. And where better to stamp it off than the back of that piece of paper? So what I want is a nice light image. I'm just going to kind of stamp it on there like that. Okay, so you don't really see a lot of it. It's not too bright or anything, but it's there. Okay, and then I'm going to take some Night of Navy ink, and there's really fine sentiments in here, and what I mean by fine are really thin, detailed, fine font, skinny, tiny, thin words. So I'm using a different stamp set. I'm using Simply Said. I love this set. Just a note. And I'm just going to stamp that right on there like so. Okay. Now I wanted to jazz this up a little. So I'm going to take some of my linen thread just as soon as I find it. Ooh, I do not have, look at this, the end of a roll of linen thread. And I'm going to add this on here. And what we have is a very beautiful and simple card with a very fun fold. So again, this is an accordion, a gatefold accordion card. Gatefold on the outside, accordion on the inside. And I'm just going to position that right on there. Now you could pop it up, but again, because this card is already somewhat thick in nature, I'm just going to adhere it right on to my card base. And look at how cool that just lines right up with my die. So super fun. And then I'm going to embellish this with some tinsel gems. These are really pretty, and they will match just oh so nicely with this. I'll just put a couple on there like so. Voila! Now, your challenge is to create this card in your own way and share it in our Stamping with the Creativity Cave Facebook group. You have all month long to participate and let us know. I will post all of those dimensions. I'll share them here once again. There's this piece is the card base. You're going to score and cut these little tabs out. The DSP are 2 pieces of 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 for the outside. You could do 2 more pieces on the inside, but again, I felt like it got busy, so I chose not to do them in there, but that's, you know, personal preference. And then I said 3 to 5 pieces of 1 7/8 by 2 3/4, which are going to fit on that accordion piece. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So however many you want to use, I used three pieces. Sorry, that's my middle finger. three pieces here, a white here, and then some die cuts there. It's again totally up to you. And then 1 piece for the background, which is 4 by 5 1/4. So those are all your pieces. That accordion is 3 by 10 5/8. You're going to score at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 on each end to get those 5 sections. So there you go. Sharon asks, are you required to use new product? No, I do say though it needs to be Stampin' Up! Products. That's all. Because I am a Stampin' Up! Person. So yeah. So there you go. You have all month long. So I hope you'll join us for this. And I can't wait to see what you create. It's really, once you figure out the fold, which is not too tough, it's really easy. I highly recommend making yourself, you know, the pattern piece like I did, because it really helps to see it in action. And this is great to keep like in your file, you know, of cards to make. So yeah. All right. And I'm not a huge lover of fun folds, so if I can do this, anybody can do this. Okay. Now my next card I'm really excited about because it uses watercolor. And I think you might know, maybe definitely definitely an out of the box color for this one, or for this designer series paper, but I think it looks great with it. And part of where I got that is these dots. Now I think technically they are supposed to be balmy blue, but I feel like they really are, let's just say, flexible. So I think they go. All right. Then I am going to take this 3.5 inch square panel and put it on a 3 5/8 inch panel of Night of Navy cardstock. And then I'm going to put it on my card. I'm going to leave it for now. All right. And then ahead of time, I actually did this ahead of time. I stamped and heat embossed my larger of the 2 orange images in some silver embossing powder. And we're going to watercolor this. This is on watercolor paper, and that is so crucial to get this look. All right, I'm going to take my water painter, and I've got a little, this is, what do you call this? Water, oh my gosh, seriously, why can't I think of the word of this? Paper towel, goodness. I kept thinking water, but paper towel to use. And we are going to color with some peach pie ink. So I chose peach pie instead of, say, pumpkin pie, which is a little brighter shade of orange, because I want this to be kind of on the more subtle side. I also have right here a dish of water, because I really don't like using the water in my water painter, because you go through it so fast, and sometimes it's harder to control the amount of water. But if I use water here in my paper towel, I can really control that water pretty well. All right, so what I want to do is start by just putting down some clean, clear water on my first orange. And I want to do it where there's no water in any of the leaf or the stem that overlaps this particular orange. And then I'm going to pick up my color and I'm going to add it to this. And we're going to do kind of a subtle color combination here. So I've got peach pie. Again, I'm leaving some clean areas where that stem breaks in and where this leaf breaks in. So you just want to stay outside of that. And one of the things I love when I watercolor is when I emboss. The embossing really helps keep things from getting out of its designated area, so to speak. Now, where there's dots on my image, I'm going to color a little darker. So let me bring my stamp set in so you can see. So you can see they've kind of added dots to these different sections of the orange, and I'm going to use those as my guide for where things get dark. Rosie's asking how is Izzy? She's good. She this is really funny, you guys. So I think you probably know that this is like the year of these weird cicadas that have been in hibernation for like a million years. I don't know. And they're kind of loud. They make a lot of noise, especially at night, like in the evening. And so the last time we go to take her out, she doesn't like going. I think because the cicadas are too loud. So I think that's fun. She's kind of a scaredy cat. We had a crazy thunderstorm blow through last week, and it may have been Monday or Tuesday. We had just such a like Carl called it atomic bomb crack of lightning. Actually, that would be thunder though, wouldn't it? I think that's what he called it. Anyway, it was super loud. And so we assumed that the lightning struck near our house really close. And she did not really budge, which usually she's the scaredy cat for that. But Milo, he like went running across our bedroom, and he was kind of out of sorts. All right, I'm moving on to my next orange. So again, I'm putting down some water. This is called the wet in wet technique. And what I love about this is it blends the colors really seamlessly. So you don't get any streaky lines or anything. It just blends everything so nicely. And just like the last one, we're going to be careful to stay out of the flower and the stem on this one. And so I kind of like just putting my base layer of color down. And again, if I need to, I can wipe up and suck off any excess water or color that I've got on here. And sorry, I'm kind of moving it because of the glare of my lights. I can't see where the color's going because it's so shiny from the water. But there we go. Oh, so pretty. And I like to clean off my brush and kind of clean things up and add some more color. One thing, by the way, if you struggle with squeezing your ink pad to the lid to get this color, as you can see I did, one thing you can do is actually take a clean block and touch it to your ink pad and then pull the color off of there. Allow me to demonstrate. This is dirty because it has this color of ink on it. So I just touched it to my block, and now I can pick up the color like this. You can also use your reinkers, but here's why I like not using my reinker on something like this, is if I were to use my reinker, the color would be way, 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 way more intense. And I don't want that to be super duper duper dark. I want it to be a little lighter. And by the way, I'm setting some ink pads on here so I can rest my arm and hold this up a little closer so you can see it. Sort of like zooming in, but I'm not. And I forgot to put my water down, so my paintbrush is wet, but I'm putting water down with a dirty paintbrush so you can actually see the color. But this is sort of my water layer, and then I'm going to add more color to this. Again, if I used my reinkers, this would be a much more vivid color, and I don't want it to be quite that dark. I want to keep it lighter than that. Also, our ink pads are dye-based ink, and that dye-based ink is often really staining on watercolor paper, which means that if I put too much down, it's a lot harder to clean it up and get rid of it, if you know what I mean. So there we go. I think that looks pretty good so far. So hopefully you can see that. So lovely. All right, so we've got that part done. Now I'm going to move on to the next section. And by the way, you can, if this dries lighter than you want, you can always put more color down. Just go over the whole thing, the whole orange, just like we started with clear water. And then you can add another layer down and you can build the color up if you'd like. Sometimes watercolor is tricky because you keep coming back to it and you can keep messing with it. But I love it. I love, love, love this. I find watercolor to be just an unbelievably effective distraction from what is happening in the real world. And so I can't recommend my course enough to you. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to do a new color with Night of Navy for the leaves. And you're probably like, what? What is she doing? Actually, maybe did I use Night of Navy? I think I used Night of Navy. So Night of Navy for the leaves. Remember, again, this is the DSP we're using. So, all right. Did I wet the whole thing? I did orange by orange. If you do the whole thing, it dries before you can get to it. So yeah, I just wet the whole one orange at a time. So I'm going to repeat that process by wetting one leaf at a time. And you really want to make sure your brush is clean on this because you don't want any of that orange ink to mix with this. Okay, so just like before, I'm going to put down some color. So I'm starting with a light wash of Night of Navy. So we'll just put a little bit of Night of Navy down. And then I'm going to pick up some darker Night of Navy and just kind of touch it in and look at the magic that happens when you touch this into a wet background. It just fills it up and it looks so cool. Isn't that awesome? So I'll try and do this close to the screen so you can see, and then it'll just kind of blend out. It won't give me like harsh lines or anything. It'll just be beautiful. Let's do this little leaf right here. Again, you can't see this so much, but I'm wetting this down with water first, being careful to stay outside of the orange. Just stay with the leaf, putting in some light color. It's a little darker than I want, so I took some clean, rinsed off my brush, and I've got clean water to help blend it out. Okay, and I have a little too much water, so I'm going to soak some of that up with my brush, and then I'm going to charge in some of that darker color right near the veins of this leaf in the center. Okay, so pretty. I'll rinse my brush, get it wet, and go on to the next leaf. Again, one leaf at a time. So fun. By the way, if you are in my Watercolor Happy course, I will post this project and the link to this video in the course so that you can refer back to it. Okay. And then again, guess I didn't do the lighter color first. I got so excited. I love charging in color like this because it's just so fun and exciting and it looks cool. Ooh, now I mixed a little bit there. I just got to be careful to avoid that. You don't want to mix orange and blue because those are opposite colors, and typically what you end up with is kind of a muddy, ugly color, but I think we're okay. I'm going to charge in some more of that dark blue. But because these colors are kind of opposites on the color wheel, and we talk actually a lot about color in our watercolor course, they look great next to one another, which, how awesome is that? And I bet you're all sitting there going, I had no idea you could paint a leaf blue. Well, you can do whatever you want. It's your card. But I kind of like the blue. It's just different. So again, wetting a section. I'll take a lighter kind of wash of this color, and then we'll charge in some darker Night of Navy. And doesn't this look fancy and like a professional watercolorist colored it? But it's just me. I suppose technically I might be considered a professional watercolorist only because people have paid me money to teach them how to watercolor. So I suppose in the literal sense that's true, but I've never actually, I don't think I've ever actually sold any of my work. So that's my definition of a professional artist, which I would not fall under that category. But maybe I should start selling my stuff. I don't know. But how pretty is this? And kind of unexpected, right? I bet today you did not think, gosh, is Dina going to paint leaves blue? That was not on your bingo card, I bet. I will tell you, Simone getting a silver was not on my bingo card either. Oops, spoiler alert. Simone got a silver today. And she placed like fifth, and Suni and Simone got 5th and 6th on Beam. It's a rough day. So that's too bad. But you know what? What an Olympics for her. I'm just so happy for her. Have you guys watched? There's a documentary on Netflix about her. There's more episodes coming. Carla and I watched it the other day. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, two more leaves left. We're almost done. And by the way, our last card, super easy, but really kind of unique as well, which I love. Okay, there we go. Charge in a little dark color. Da, da, da. So cool. And one final leaf. I can smell dinner. Carl's cooking. It's so awesome. Makes me so happy. Okay, now we also have on here these little stems that go to the buds and then kind of the branch. I'm going to color those in nice dark Night of Navy. By the way, I'm using the smallest of the water painters because it's pretty fine. Brush. So there's several little stems that need to get colored in, both to the oranges and to the buds. And you can see I'm doing it much darker than the leaf behind it. And then these two over here. Oh, and I just went outside the lines. Bad Dina. But that's a tiny little area. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. But I can try and fix it by taking clean water and going over the area, lifting it out and repeating. And that's going to go pretty good. Okay, so there we go. Then what I'm going to do is in the center of each of these flowers, I'm going to use some Summer Splash. Okay, I see a horse with a hat on. A horse with a hat on. Okay, so I'm putting my little Summer Splash centers on these flowers. And you can do one of two things. You can either leave them like this so that the flower itself is white, or you can blend it out so that the flower is Summer Splash. It's kind of up to you. So I just put a little at the base of the buds and then the centers of the 3 flowers. So I am going to leave this one as is, and then I did another one ahead of time. And this one, I blended the flowers out. I'm going to say I kind of like the one without the blended flowers a teensy bit better, but it's, you know, it really is just your personal opinion. So we can use either one of these, but oh my gosh, isn't this just so pretty? Oh, I love it. All right, so let's put our card together. I'm going to keep my Night of Navy out because I'm going to use that for my sentiment. But I think I'm going to take this one. I like this one a little better. And what I want to do is put this on my card. Now, I look at this and think there's a lot happening here. So what if we softened it up a little bit with some vellum? So I could do, let's see, 3 1/4 maybe. I don't know if this piece is big enough for 3 1/4. Not really. So let's see how that looks. I am just going to soften this up with some vellum. Now we don't have vellum in the catalog, which, you know, is kind of a bummer. But if you get the card kit from me, I will include a piece of vellum. And I'll even make sure it's big enough. Let me grab another piece here quick. Here we go. So 3 1/4 inches of vellum. And what I love about vellum is that it just softens, your project, like this DSP, ever so slightly, where you still enjoy the designer series paper, but it's not like in your face, so to speak. Okay, so I'm just going to adhere this kind of right in the middle, and the adhesive shouldn't really show too much because we're going to cover it up. And then I'm going to position this on my card like so. And then I didn't push this too hard because what I'm going to do is add my sentiment. Same stamp set, the Simply Said, and I'm going to stamp Thinking of You. And there you go. Okay. And then of course we're going to pop up, Rosie, obviously, we're going to pop up the oranges because they're just so pretty. So I've got, brand new sheet of dimensionals, so many possibilities. So I'll put some dimensionals on here. By the way, in my All-Star tutorial this month, I did another, I did some watercoloring, and I did a little different color scheme for my watercoloring, but have some great tips in there for you. So you're going to want that. Oh, it's so beautiful. All right, let's embellish really quick. I'm going to use my tinsel gems once again, which of course you will get a package of tinsel gems if your order total is $75 or more. That will come automatically. And I'm just going to put, I think I put my vellum on here a little crooked. Sometimes that happens when I'm in a video. I find when I am assembling cards in videos, my projects are, let's just say, not always super straight. And I'm kind of putting my dots in the center of these little sections. There's not actually one here, so I'm just going to throw it in, but very fun. And maybe we'll put another one here, and that, like, the little tinsel in there coordinates with the silver of our card embossing. So, oh, gorgeous! So pretty. I just love this one. Isn't that just stunning? And just take your time, and it's really quite easy to do, believe it or not. Okay, for our last card, this one is going to go pretty quick. I'm going to start with a piece of designer series paper. This one is 4 by 5 1/4, and then I cut 1 inch of it off. Okay, and I'm going to take a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock, fold it in half. It's just your standard half sheet. And then I need to cut off 1 inch from the front flap. Okay. And when I do that, what's left is a 3-inch hunk, which is going to fit perfectly on the front of this. And then I will also have this 1-inch hunk, which I'm going to adhere to the end of this piece of 4 by 5 1/4 white cardstock, like so. And then I'm going to adhere that to the inside of my card. So easy peasy, right? You've probably seen a card like this, I'm guessing more than once. I've done this card quite a few times. All right, so there we go. You can see the pattern carries through. But I wanted more. So, ooh, where did my die cut piece go? That's not good. Oh boy, she's missing. I have a die cut for my sentiment here somewhere, or I did anyway. What happened to it? Well, shoot. I hate it when this happens. Okay, I'm just looking under all my things to see if it got away somehow. I don't see it. All right, I might have to quick die cut it. So I'm going to use this die. This is from the Greetings, let's see, Greetings of the Season dies. I've used those last time I was live. And I'm die cutting that out of Night of Navy. Also, I don't know if I stressed this enough. That last card that is watercolored, the key to this is the watercolor paper. If you don't use watercolor paper, it's not going to look good. Okay, now I'm going to take this and heat emboss my sentiment on here in white. Just got to grab my powder. And again, my sentiment is from my, ooh, where is my sentiment? Oh my gosh. Why are things disappearing on me? Oh, you stinker. Well, my sentiment is supposed to be from the Simply Said stamp set. Don't worry, I found it in my tag. Oh well. Now I have two. All right, so I'm gonna stamp birthday wishes. On here in Versamark, and then we'll heat emboss with white powder. Hold on to this baby. And again, I wanted a more bold sentiment than the ones that come in that Citrus Bloom set, just because this DSP is kind of, you know, it's a bolder pattern, so I wanted something that would look nice with it. Okay, so there we go. And we're going to put this on here. Now I'm going to pop this up. I mean, obviously. But I'm making sure that I do it so that my card will open, so I'm not going all the way. So it'll go on here like this. Now, I wanted to add a pop of color. So I cut myself, I think this is 1 1/4 by 5 inches berry burst, and I'm going to literally just stick it on here, and I'm putting it on at an angle. I know some of you are gonna just flip out about that angle, but I'm doing it. It's just kind of something fun and different. And so I have this fun little pop of color right here. You could do all kinds of stuff to this. you can, I'm going to distress the edges. Now, if you do distress the edges, just be careful to not cut yourself. Just taking my snips and running it across the edge there. I think that just adds kind of a cool touch. But look at that fun little pop of color. And then I'm going to add this on top, but we're going to make it fancy. So let's take, this is some of our new frayed grosgrain ribbon. And all I'm going to do is feed this through, oops, like this. Okay, so I'm not using much. Just a little hunk. And then I'll tie it with a little bit of white twine. Now you could, I haven't played with this ribbon. I believe it will dye nicely. I don't know if it's the kind of thing you have to dye with like water and your re-inker, or if you can dye it or color it with your Stampin' Blends. Have anybody tried doing that? I haven't tried myself. Now I'm going to give you like the most awesome tip ever. Take a punch. This is when you need an extra set of hands but don't have them. Take a punch and hold those little ends of your ribbon, and then you can tie your little baker's twine on here like a professional with an extra set of hands. Another thing that works nicely too is, and this is a little easier to do now that I've got this tied in a knot so it's tight. Another thing you can do is a clipboard will work pretty well, but the punch, the weight of that punch really helps. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that on like so. And then I'm gonna pop this up. And what? How cool is that? So awesome, right? Okay, so let's take and add another little pop of color with our little dots here. You can do as many of these as you want. I'm just gonna put, maybe I'll go every other one, small and large. Of course, if you order in my online store, you'll get a whole thing of these. You can use tons of them. But I just think that's fun to add the little dots there. You can maybe throw a couple on the tag as well, just to kind of bring it all together. Oh, so fun! Oh my gosh, I just love this. Isn't that just the best? All right, well, let me show you my cards. It's 6:29, and I told Carl I'd be done at 6:30, so here we are. So awesome. Okay, so we made these two beauties, and then this fun fold, which is also our card challenge for August. So I hope you loved these projects. If you could, I would just be so grateful for the thumbs up on my video, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. It just helps me so much. Let me know in the comments which card is your favorite. The Just a Note, Thinking of You, or Birthday Wishes, because I always love hearing what you guys love the most. And it's okay if you have more than one favorite, because I always do. But thank you guys so much for stamping with me. I will be right back here next week. And I can't wait to stamp with you. I will be featuring, oh, and then I also have a video on Wednesday, so come on back for that. But thank you guys so much for being here with me today. And again, I love hearing which cards are your favorites, so thanks for letting me know. And thanks for being here, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope this video brightened your day. We'll see you all soon, friends. Bye! If I can figure out where to stop the video. There we go.